This video is brought to you by Soccer.com, North America's largest online soccer retailer. Don't forget to use coupon code 1SR4U13 at checkout for free shipping within the US on any order of $100 or more. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Puma PowerCat 1 in the brand new metallic white, orange, and Hawaiian Ocean colorway. There's nothing included in the box other than the shoes themselves, so I'll get this box out of the way. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the Puma PowerCat 1. It technically has a different name than the PowerCat 1.12, but for the most part the shoe is very similar. Puma has just made some minor tweaks to the shoe itself that make it a little bit different from that original version. The differences are, of course, the synthetic side paneling here. You can see it does feature an all-new graphic, which I think looks really good, perhaps better than the original. And the synthetic itself is a little bit softer and perhaps a little bit thinner, just more flexible and comfortable overall, but still does the same job of keeping that nice supportive feel on the outside of the shoe. The tongue itself is made from a full synthetic with a little bit of padding going through the lower part of the tongue itself, as opposed to being a very thin mesh-based tongue. And the heel liner itself, instead of being a smooth heel liner, is now a dimpled heel liner, similar to what you saw on the PowerCat 112 SL. But other than that, the only other difference that I could really pick out between the PowerCat 112 and the PowerCat 1, like I have here, is maybe that the kangaroo leather on the upper does feel a little bit softer from right out of the box. But other than that, the differences between the two are very minimal, and you're not going to notice too much of a difference in performance between the two models. If you guys are interested in the overall performance of the shoe itself, I do have a full written review on my website, SoccerReviewsForYou.com. I will leave a link to that down below in the description. As far as the upper itself goes, it's a combination of natural kangaroo leather, which spans from this seam right here, goes all the way around the forefoot toe box area, and then goes all the way to the back half of the heel. So this part of the shoe is made from very soft, high quality kangaroo leather, whereas this side panel here on the outside is made from a synthetic material that is going to allow you to have that nice snug lockdown when you pull the laces tight, and is going to allow the shoe to keep its shape over longer periods of time. As far as the striking element on the shoe itself goes, this is kind of the main highlight of the PowerCat series. It technically is listed or labeled as a power boot, and while that doesn't really mean much, what it does mean is that you get a striking element on the shoe itself. Now, what I really like about the Puma 3D PST striking element is that it kind of hides away, and that when you're not striking the ball, the shoe itself just feels like a standard kangaroo leather soccer shoe, which is always a very good thing. But when you do strike the ball, you have this Puma 3D PST power technology, if you will, and basically what this does is that it is basically a TPU plastic insert in the leather itself that makes for a very kind of high impact area on the shoe, where it's designed to absorb as little impact between your foot and the ball when you're striking it as possible. So you get a very high energy transfer, giving the shoe a very responsive feel. You can see there is some little bit of rubber there peeking out. It's not very abrasive, and it's there more as kind of like an indicator as to where this particular part of the shoe is. But for the most part, it feels really good when you strike the ball. And overall, it's one of my personal favorite striking elements on the market. You can see that you do have an off-center lacing system with the laces being pushed to the outside, leaving you with a pretty large striking zone here on the instep, free of any kind of obstruction. Like I mentioned earlier, the tongue itself is made from a fairly thin synthetic, but there is a little bit of padding there on the inside, so it's not overly thin, and for the most part, this is a very protective shoe as well. You do have an external plastic heel counter, as you can see here, which will provide some minor protection as well as keep your heel locked in place and supported very nicely. Like I mentioned earlier, you do have that dimpled heel liner on the back, which does a good job of locking your heel in place, and it is relatively comfortable. Give you guys a quick look at the insole. You can see it is a mesh-lined insole. You got your PowerCat logo there at the heel, and it's pretty much just your standard EVA foam. It's relatively minimalistic for such a shoe that has so much kind of solidness to it. That's kind of didn't really come out right, but you know what I mean. It's a minimalistic insole for a shoe that weighs so much and just seems like it's so solidly built. And then of course the sole plate itself is made from a TPU plastic. Very nice sole plate, very nice stud pattern as well. A great stud pattern overall if you are going to be playing on harder playing surfaces. You can see you do have blades all the way through, and they're scattered pretty nicely. They're fairly long, have fairly large surface areas, so they will dig in nicely because they do have that kind of narrow taper to them, But in terms of, because of how much surface area they cover, there's lots of stability here. So you're going to get that dig in when you're pushing off, but they're still very, very stable when you're striking and just running in general. Very, very comfortable stud pattern to wear. Like I said, even on natural grass playing surfaces that tend to be a little bit harder. You do have your 6 studs here in the heel, making the shoe feel very, very stable underfoot. And like I mentioned in the forefoot, these studs are fairly narrow, so they dig in really, really nicely when you are pushing off for quick cuts and turns and just acceleration in general. So that's pretty much it as far as the unboxing portion of this video goes. And to move on to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. I feel like ever since Puma introduced the SL model in the PowerCat series, that a lot of people just tend to overlook the standard version of the PowerCat because they view it as too heavy. So for the sake of comparison, we're going to weigh in the regular PowerCat 1 versus the PowerCat 1 SL, which is what I have here. Keep in mind these are both brand new pairs in a size 9.5 US. You can see that this is the standard PowerCat 1 by the branding on the side, and they weigh in at 9.6 ounces, so they are about average weight for a soccer shoe. They don't necessarily feel all that lightweight on your feet, but they don't feel heavy either. And like I mentioned, if you are looking for a more durable, more solid feeling soccer shoe, then you're probably better off going for the standard version of the PowerCat 1. So I'll take that off the scale and I'll put on the PowerCat 1 SL. Again, you can see the branding there on the side, so you know that is in fact the SL model. And these guys weigh in at 8.15 ounces. So there's about a 1.5 ounce difference in weight between the two models. And while that might not seem like a lot, and most of the time I would overlook that, because of how the weight is dispersed, a lot of the weight reduction is in the sole plate itself because it is much thinner on the PowerCat 1 SL. I know visually you can't see that, but if you did wear the shoes and just hold them in your hands, it is a lot thinner. So for that reason, the PowerCat 1 SL does feel a lot lighter. But like I mentioned, if you're looking for a more solid, perhaps a more durable build, then I would definitely go for the standard version of the PowerCat 1. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video goes. And I'll move on to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the PowerCat 1's on feet. And from right out of the box, the shoes definitely do feel a little bit stiff. So keep in mind that there is some break-in time required with this particular model. The main reason for the stiffness is, of course, the leather is brand new, and while it is still very, very soft, the striking element itself is made from plastic, so it is a little bit stiff from right out of the box. But once you start to wear them in a couple hours, it will soften up and feel a lot more comfortable, as well as just mold to your feet in general. As far as the overall fit of the shoe goes, it definitely is pretty generous fitting in terms of width. You have plenty of width in the toe box and forefoot area, especially because it is made from a natural leather. Just keep in mind that you're not going to have too much stretch on the inside of the forefoot as you will on the outside of the forefoot, mainly because of the striking element itself. And through the midfoot, you're not going to have much stretch at all, again, mainly due to the synthetic overlay on the outside of the foot. So for the most part, if you have wide feet, you shouldn't have too many issues fitting into this shoe, but if you do have really, really wide feet, then I would probably stay away. As far as sizing goes, I'm wearing a size 9.5 in this particular pair, as opposed to my usual size 9 US, and that's mainly because these shoes run about a half size small. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up for the best possible fit. So that's pretty much it as far as the on-feet portion of this video goes, and I'll leave you to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing plus on-feet video of the Puma PowerCat 1. Like I mentioned, if you would like more information on this particular shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website, soccerreviewsforyou.com. You will find a direct link to that down below in the description. If you have any questions regarding the shoe, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to support it with a like. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. If you guys want to buy some SR4U t-shirts, there will be a link down below in the description to that as well as links to all of the latest social media platforms that I'm on, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.